My name is Laura Vega, and a year ago my husband abandoned me for a woman 15 years younger, saying I had let myself go. Today, while signing the documents to acquire his failing company, I can barely contain my smile as I watch his shocked face when he recognizes me. It all began a year and a half ago, when we celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary. Fernando and I had met in university. He studied business administration, I studied finance. We married shortly after graduating, and while he built his small consulting firm, I dedicated myself to supporting him from home. Someone has to keep the fort, he would say, and I, in love and trusting, agreed to put my career on pause. The years passed, and though we weren't rich, we lived comfortably. Or so I thought. The first signs of trouble appeared at a dinner with his new clients. "Laura, why don't you dress up a bit more for these occasions?" Fernando whispered as we headed to the restaurant. "Julia, my client's wife, always looks impeccable." I looked at myself in the rearview mirror. My hair was pulled back in a simple bun, and my dress, though formal, wasn't designer. "I look presentable," I replied. "Presentable isn't enough at this level of business." During dinner, I met Julia, the client's wife. 30 years old, blonde, perfectly made up and dressed like she stepped out of a fashion magazine. Next to her, my 45 years seemed to weigh more heavily. But it was her personal assistant, Camila, who really caught Fernando's attention. 25 years old, ambitious, and with a smile my husband couldn't stop looking at. "You should take some yoga classes with Camila," Fernando suggested after dinner. "She could give you some advice about everything." That was the beginning of the end. Business dinners became more frequent, and Fernando came home later and later. He always had excuses, important meetings, clients to attend to, strategies to plan. One day, while cleaning his home office, I found a receipt from a luxury hotel. The date matched one of his night meetings. When I confronted him, his response left me frozen. "What did you expect, Laura? You've completely let yourself go. Look at you, no makeup with those outdated clothes. Camila is young, vibrant. She takes care of herself. She understands the image I need to project." The image. My voice trembled. "What about our 10 years together?" Fernando sighed, as if explaining something to a child. "Times change. I need someone who evolves with me, who understands the modern business world. Camila has an MBA. She's up to date with the latest trends. You're stuck in the past. Do you realize I left my career for you? That I have a degree in finance? A degree from 20 years ago. What have you done since then?" "Nothing." "I'm sorry, Laura, but I want a divorce." That night, while packing his things, I found more receipts from hotels, expensive restaurants, and jewelry stores. Fernando had been spending fortunes on Camila while criticizing me for buying clothes at department stores. But among the papers I found something else, financial statements from his company. And thanks to my obsolete finance degree, I could see things weren't as good as he claimed. Fernando moved in with Camila the next day. He left me the house, which was in my name, and a small pension for years of service, as he called it. That night, sitting alone in our bedroom, I looked at myself in the mirror. My dark hair showed some gray, my face some wrinkles. But in my eyes I saw something I hadn't seen in years. Determination. "All right, Fernando," I murmured to my reflection. "You want evolution? You'll get it." The next day, I made 3 calls. To my former finance professor, now dean of the business school, to my cousin Alicia, owner of a luxury spa, and to my best friend Patricia, an executive at an investment bank. "Laura, finally!" Patricia exclaimed. "I've been telling you for years to come back to the financial world." "I'm ready," I replied. "Is that job offer still open?" "Of course. You start Monday as an analyst. The salary won't be much at first." "Doesn't matter. What I need is to update my knowledge." My transformation began on all fronts. Mornings at the bank, afternoons taking refresher courses in finance and technology, and nights studying the latest trends in investments and markets. Alicia took charge of my physical transformation. "You don't need to look 25, she said while giving me a facial treatment. "You need to look like the best version of yourself." I changed my wardrobe to elegant, but professional pieces. My hair, previously always pulled back, now sported a modern cut that framed my face. The gym and yoga, yes, Fernando, I took yoga to tone my body. But the real transformation happened in my mind. With each new piece of knowledge acquired, with each successful financial operation, my confidence grew. In 6 months, I was promoted to investment manager. During that time, I occasionally heard about Fernando and Camila. They had married in an ostentatious ceremony, spending money his company didn't really have. He's juggling debts, Patricia told me one day, reviewing some reports. He's taken out loans to maintain appearances, but the numbers don't lie. How long do you give him? 6 months maximum. Unless he finds a major investor. I smiled. How interesting. By then, I had formed my own investment firm, using the contacts I'd made at the bank and my renewed market knowledge. My clients appreciated my combination of experience and modern vision. A year after the divorce, I received a call I had been waiting for. Your ex's company is for sale, Patricia said. He's desperate to find buyers. Price? Much less than it's worth if you know how to restructure it. Schedule a meeting. The day of the meeting, I made sure to look impeccable. Designer suit, Italian heels, and an air of confidence that no money can buy. When I entered the boardroom, Fernando was seated with Camila at his side. He didn't recognize me immediately. Good morning, I said softly. I'm Laura Vega, from Vega Investments. I saw the exact moment Fernando recognized me. His eyes widened, his jaw dropped. Laura? Your potential buyer? Yes. I sat across from them, enjoying their discomfort. I see things haven't been going very well lately. Camila, who had noticeably paled, tried to maintain her composure. We have other interested buyers. No, you don't, I replied, opening my portfolio. Your financial statements are public. You're on the brink of bankruptcy. Fernando shifted uncomfortably. Laura, if this is some kind of revenge. Revenge? I laughed softly. Fernando, this is business. Your company has potential, but it needs a complete restructuring. My offer is fair, considering the circumstances. I slid the documents toward him. As he read them, I saw sweat forming on his forehead. This price is more than it's worth currently, but less than what it could be worth with proper management. I leaned back in my chair. By the way, nice watch, Camila. Cartier, right? Though spending $30,000 on a watch when the company is bankrupt doesn't seem very, what did you call it, Fernando? Evolution. Camila had the decency to blush. Fernando looked like he had aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Laura, save it. You have 24 hours to accept the offer. After that, the price drops 20%. I stood up, smoothing my skirt. Oh, and Fernando? I'm glad I stayed in the past. It gave me time to learn how business is really done. A week later, we signed the purchase documents. Fernando avoided meeting my eyes, while Camila nervously played with her expensive watch. One last thing, I said after the papers were signed. Camila, you're fired.
What?
You can't do that. Of course I can. I just bought the company. And your position as executive consultant with a 6-figure salary is the first one I'll eliminate in the restructuring. Fernando, say something. But Fernando just stared at the floor, defeated. I turned to leave, but stopped at the door. By the way, do you like my new look? Yoga does wonders. The following months were intense. I restructured the company, eliminated unnecessary expenses, and turned it into an efficient and profitable operation. The employees, free from the toxic environment Fernando had created, flourished under my leadership. Occasionally I heard about my ex and his young wife. Their marriage didn't survive the loss of status and money. The last I heard, Camila had moved in with a wealthier businessman, and Fernando was working as a salesman at a small company. One day, while reviewing some documents in my new office, Fernando's old office, Patricia came to visit. Was it worth it? She asked, looking around. All the transformation, the hard work. I smiled, thinking about the past year. You know what? I didn't do it for him. At first I thought it was about revenge, about proving him wrong. But really, I did it for me. You look happy. I am. Fernando did me a favor, though he didn't know it. He forced me to wake up, to remember who I really was. And who are you? I looked at my reflection in the window. My hair now had silver streaks I didn't bother hiding. My wrinkles told stories of laughter and experience. But my eyes shone with a confidence no facelift could give. I'm Laura Vega, businesswoman, strategist, and a woman who finally understood that true beauty comes from being who you are, without apologies. Patricia smiled. You know, Fernando and Camila did you a favor. They freed you to become this. The best revenge is success, I said, but then corrected myself. Though no, it's not revenge. It's poetic justice. That night, while driving home, I passed by the restaurant where it all began, where I first met Camila. I stopped and went in. The new Laura drew admiring glances. I sat at the bar and ordered a martini. Alone tonight? Asked the bartender. I smiled, thinking about my journey over the last year. No, I replied. I'm in excellent company. Because in the end, the best transformation wasn't the physical one. It was realizing that I never needed anyone's approval but my own. And that's a lesson worth more than all the companies in the world. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.